Hello viewers, you're watching India Today Global with me, Ishita Mitra. Now at this hour, we bring you the analysis of the biggest story of the day, and as always, I'm being joined by India Today Global's editor, Pranay Upadhyay. So thank you so much for joining us here. And today we're going to look at the growing cooperation between China and Pakistan, India's two neighbors, and we'll answer very important questions here. How reliant is Pakistan on China, and also should India be worried about these growing developments? Now first, let's address the reports which have caused this debate. Pakistan is said to buy Chinese version of US THAAD air defense system, which is basically the HQ-19 Shield. So tell us more about this weapon system and how it's going to, tip the missile balance in South Asia.
Let us first clarify, Ishita, that this is claimed to be the Chinese equivalent of US THAAD missile defense system, which is the anti-ballistic missile defense system, and this is basically targeted against the medium-range ballistic missiles.
Okay.
So we do not know exactly the capacity of the Chinese missile defense system, because we have seen during the Operation Sindoor,
Yes.
their HQ-9 and HQ-16, how did they perform? So they were clearly beaten by the India's BrahMos missile systems and
Exactly.
the other weapon systems India have. So this clearly, we have to make this distinction. But having said that, if there are indications that Pakistan is likely to buy another trench of the weaponry from China, which includes HQ-19. HQ-19 is said to be relatively a new missile defense system which China has developed. And recently in Zhuhai Air Show, they've shown it, and they are also ready to export it. And Pakistan could be the first recipient country, as in case of many other weapon systems, because JF-17 or J-10, the fighter jets, Pakistan became the first recipient of these weapon systems, because largely the global weapon market is dominated by the Western powers.
Yes.
And why these weapons are of the Western origin are being bought by many countries? Because they are battle proven. So anyone who's trying to buy any weapon, they want to see the reliance, how efficient that weapon system is, and whether in any battlefield, how did that weapon system has performed. So clearly there is a distinction about the China is relatively a new entrant in the weapon market.
Okay.
But this HQ-19 system is said to be what China claims, that this is a medium range ballistic missile system which has a range of around 3,000 kilometers.
Okay.
Or maybe we can put it another way, that it can terminate or it can kill any incoming ballistic missile or a supersonic cruise missile at an altitude of exosphere, above atmosphere, and even at the terminal stage.
Okay.
So that is very important, that if any missile system is able to kill or to terminate any incoming missile, even at the terminal stage is like when missile is coming and it is about to hit the ground.
Okay.
So that is considered as like a very low altitude, and it is very difficult for any missile system to engage any incoming missile at that level.
Okay.
So that comes the efficiency of it. But we do not know, because this weapon system has only gone through the various trial process between 2020 to 2024.
Okay.
And most of that 2020 to 2024 period is a COVID time. So we do not know exactly how it is. But recently, when in 2021 and 2022, Pakistan received around 6 batteries of HQ-9 missile defense system, which they did deploy during Operation Sindoor, and which miserably failed to shoot down any of the incoming missiles from India. So we are yet to see and how that acquisition progresses between Pakistan and China, because we are yet to see. Because the efficiency of that weapon system, we do not know how many batteries Pakistan would want to buy, and you also have to see that in Pakistan, the most of these weapon acquisition decisions are not taken by any government but the military itself.
Exactly.
So there lies the answer, because Pakistan military has decided to buy this weapon despite having failure of these weapon system of Chinese origin, especially the HQ-9 and HQ-16. So now they are trying to buy another version of this HQ series. China claims that this is equivalent of US THAAD system, which was deployed in various other fields as well. But so this is the case right now, that HQ-19 is likely to be bought by Pakistan.
All right, so this is what the system is all about, and how the defense collaboration has been going on between China and Pakistan. Now, we describe China and Pakistan's partnership as all-weather partnership, and it goes beyond the realm of defense.
Not us, not we decide. They describe it as all-weather friendship.
Yes,
and deeper than sea, and taller than mountain.
Yes. And it goes beyond defense as well.
Yes.
They cooperate in energy sector, trade sector, and also sectors such as infrastructure, right? So how would you, describe its relationship in other realms as well? How are they both cooperating in other sectors?
You can consider Pakistan. Pakistan is an interesting state. Pakistan has always played politics of geopolitics in conjunction with a big power.
Okay.
So on one side, they try and be on the side of China and to hobnob with China, and on the other side they try and have good relationship with the United States.
Yes.
And strategically, tactically, they have allied with US as well. So they always try and do this tightrope. On one side they try and balance the relationship with the United States, on the other side they want to keep a relationship with China. So far it has worked for Pakistanis, but
it's a difficult balance to maintain.
It's a difficult balance to maintain. You're absolutely right, Ishita. But here we have to notice and we have to see that Pakistan has always played on its geostrategic location. They know that most of these powers require the help of Pakistan. Pakistan has a strategic vantage point vis-a-vis this area, because largely as far as the Chinese strategy is concerned, obviously their concern is not Pakistan. Their concern is either United States, which was present in Afghanistan till about few years ago, and their largest strategic concern is India.
India, exactly.
So largely the Pakistan-China friendship, so-called friendship and all-weather relationship, is based against India to keep India under check. So if you see their strategy, despite India raising concern, India making protest with the Chinese leadership, even at the highest level, and expressing concern about the Chinese project under the CPEC,
yes.
China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which are most of these projects are in the POK, Pakistan
yes.
occupied Kashmir area, and India has raised this issue that this is the illegally occupied country area by Pakistan. And even if you go by the Pakistani version, it's a contested area.
Yes.
It's a contested area from the Pakistani claim itself, but Chinese know that they can protect their economic interests and they have invested heavily in that region. So China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is the flagship project of the Belt and Road Initiative proposed by Chinese President Xi Jinping after he assumed power in 2023.
Pakistan calls it its lifeline.
Pakistan calls it Pakistan's lifeline. They term and they tag this thing to many other things, like they call Shahrag to Kashmir, they say lifeline to this thing. So they can exaggerate any of these adjectives. But if you see the China-Pakistan relationship, right from the beginning, Pakistan has realized that there is going to be problem between India and China as far as the territorial issues are concerned. Post 1952-53, there was a problem when when China built a road to link the Xinjiang province and cut it across the Aksai Chain area, which was still in Indian control by that time. So Pakistanis realized this thing, that there's going to be a problem, and that's why they wanted to balance this thing to make this parity with India. They allied with China.
Okay.
On the other side, they became part of the CENTO Treaty. CENTO Treaty was led by the United States
yes.
in that area. And on the CENTO Treaty, the Turkish were also part of it. Pakistanis were also part of that. So for long, Pakistan have been doing this tightrope. Moving forward, in post 1962, in 1963, just after the India-China War of 1962, Pakistanis have ceded the Shaksgam Valley area,
yes.
around 5,000 square kilometer area, to China, just to make China a part
in the dispute, a party
exactly,
in the dispute.
a party in this dispute. So this clearly shows the strategic game, that the entire strategy is based to put or to keep India under check and to complicate the process. Because Pakistan always knew, post 65 war, they knew that they are not going to to have the parity with India as far as the conventional war is concerned, and that's why they wanted to make it as more strategic, more complicated, with more powers
More
involved.
problematic.
More
They
problematic.
can.
You're absolutely right.
All right, so that's what Pakistan's strategy has been when it comes to relationship with China. But every relationship is a give and take, right? So how is China getting advantage out of this, relationship with Pakistan at this point?
As far as the issue to keep India under check, yes, they both have common interest, and the commonality of interest is the driving force vis-a-vis the India or vis-a-vis the Pakistan-China relationship. Also, there are economic benefits. China is a huge country. China is the most populous country. Like till about few years ago, now we have toppled them, overtaken them on that count. But China knows that most of their resources, most of their access point are on the eastern and the southern part of China.
Okay.
So largely the northern and the western part of China is barren. They have difficulties. The Tibet Plateau has its own challenges, and China wanted access points.
Okay.
So this access point strategy is the basis of this Belt and Road Initiative or this China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So on one side, Chinese offered infrastructure development, the roads, hydroelectric power stations, various other power facilities, be it the the coal-based power infrastructure. So they have decided and to offer to Pakistan that we are going to build this infrastructure on your land, and in return we want access.
Okay.
So Pakistan has given Gwadar port to Chinese for the development, and if China get this access, it becomes there's a sea route or the energy supply of China becomes easier, because if you see the map, on map you could make out that the Chinese energy supply is also largely from the same Gulf area. And if you go from a normal route, from the normal sea lane, China has to take their ships to Malacca Strait, like entire Indian Ocean region to Malacca Strait, and then to the Chinese shore. That is a problematic area for China. And if you see the Chinese strategy for long, why they are for ports? Because China knows their vulnerability lies in ports, their access points, and their energy supply, their trades, and their supply routes can be blocked by India. If you see the geographical location of India in the Indian Ocean region, India has a unique vantage point because you have a protruding geographical structure in Indian Ocean, and on the left flank and in the eastern flank and the western flank, India has a special access in that area to even special vantage to put a blockade.
Okay.
So China knows this thing, and that's why they want additional routes, the supply routes, their trade routes, their energy supply routes, and that is the driving force behind this entire Belt and Road Initiative, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So yes, Pakistan is the first country to offer a port to China, much before any other port in Africa or any other area, or even launching of this Belt and Road Initiative. So China wanted to use this strategic advantage of relationship with Pakistan, Gwadar port. Besides that, Pakistan is an active member of the Islamic organization like OIC. Pakistan enjoys at one point of time good relation in the Gulf area, with Pakistan being an Islamic country, and China wanted access in that area.
Inroad in that.
Even
area.
if you see the weapon trade, why Chinese are arming Pakistan? Because one, they are strategic partner. Second, they are the most easiest buyer they could get for their weapons. Thirdly, through Pakistan, Chinese are also exploring the other markets.
All right. So they're trying out their weapons.
They're trying out their weapons.
In order to attract more buyers.
Exactly. And they are trying to push this envelope to the other countries that if you buy these weapon systems from us, we are going to offer you a good deal. See, our partner Pakistan has already tried these weapons. So that's why Pakistan became the test ground or the battleground to test these weapons for China. And the ultimate beneficiary of this entire trade is China.
All right, so Pakistan is sort of a sample and experiment state for China.
Absolutely.
And China has been investing a lot in this relationship, as you explained in detail, and how it's getting the tangible benefits out of it. Now, I want to go towards, like, you've talked about that economic benefits that China would get out of this relationship. But does China also has influence over Pakistan's foreign policy? Does it have a say in what Pakistan would do in its foreign policy realm? Because it's investing a lot.
Absolutely. If you see not only the financial policy, let's talk about the economic policy first. Because on one side, Pakistan has increasingly become the subservient state of, or like a satellite state for China. Why so? Because they are heavily dependent on China for their economic resources. If you see the cost of China-Pakistan economic corridor, this is over $90 billion debt serviceability.
Okay.
So, like, if you see the external debt of Pakistan, that is over $70 billion. So, like, there is a huge amount of money Pakistanis owe to China, and China is still pumping that money in Pakistan. So, you can clearly see that Pakistan's debt serviceability is very bad. They have got this IMF loan of $7 billion only after an intervention, or rather in aid of China. So they are heavily dependent for their economic resources. And any country or any individual for that matter, like, if you see any relationship, if someone is dependent on the other person for the economic means and resources, then he or she cannot objectively pursue self-interest.
Exactly.
Largely, the most of the interest will be driven in consideration with that economic interest or the debt serviceability.
The other person would have more leverage.
Absolutely. So here China has absolute leverage over Pakistan. Besides that, if we come to the foreign policy areas, look, most of the Chinese foreign policy objectives are being complemented by the Pakistani authorities, Pakistani establishment. China not invest invests in the socio-economic fabric of Pakistan, not exactly the socio-economic fabric of Pakistan, rather we should say that in the governance and the polity structure of Pakistan. So on one side, they have this relationship, they have this strategic partnership, they invest in Pakistan military, they invest in Pakistani polity as well.
Okay.
But yes, on the other side, there are problems. There are problems with this high Chinese intervention in Pakistan's economy. Pakistanis are resisting it. Pakistanis are objecting to it. And any country...
You have Balochistan, they are against China's intervention.
Not only Balochistan, Ishita. There are issues in Sindh area.
Okay.
Because the Karachi port has, some infrastructure development projects by China.
Okay.
Besides that, there were some canal projects. There are some small island projects which Pakistan wanted to give to China. So there were resistance.
Okay.
And there is resistance.
So there's growing opposition to China's intervention.
Growing, and therefore the big indicator for this resistance is the increasing number of increasing incidents of attack on Chinese nationals.
Yes.
And more so, you have to mind it that why Chinese nationals are being attacked. See, China is sending their labor force, their people to work in Pakistan.
Exactly. So Pakistan are not getting work.
Exactly. Pakistanis are not getting benefited out of it. China is only using the territory, that access point. But what Pakistanis are getting in return, the common Pakistanis, they think, especially in Balochistan, which is a very mineral-rich area, which is over 40% of Pakistan's territory, they think that they are not getting benefit.
Yes.
It's the China which is reaping all the fruits, all the benefits of all these projects, and more so, the infrastructure they are building, it is very costly. The electricity they are producing, it's very costly.
Okay.
So ultimately, the resentment in Pakistani community and Pakistani people is that at the cost of common Pakistani people, Pakistani polity and Pakistani establishment is lending and giving all these benefits. They are doling them these benefits out to only to please China.
All right, and therefore, we also saw the statement that came from BLA. It was a warning not just towards Islamabad, but also against China.
Yes.
Now, okay, so we have covered in detail, the relationship between China and Pakistan. I want to come towards India now. How is New Delhi looking at all of these developments, the growing nexus between China and Pakistan? And are we taking any step towards that?
Definitely, it's a matter of concern for us, Ishita, especially as far as the territorial disputes are concerned. You would recall that, China, in connivance with Pakistan, has complicated process at various levels, not at the territorial level, but even at the foreign policy or the diplomacy level. We have seen that to help Pakistan, they have even blocked the inclusion of terrorists into the sanctioned list.
Yes,
so at the UN, they have blocked. Even for the terrorists like Masood Azhar, they have put a technical hold in the United Nations Security Council. So this clearly shows that this China-Pakistan friendship is problematic to us and our interest. More so, it has already complicated as far as the territorial issues are concerned, because this Excision issue and Shaksgam Valley issue, which is integral part of this J&K area. And we have the parliamentary resolution clearly saying that we have to get these lands which are under the illegal occupation of China and Pakistan vacated. So that is our national resolve. So in any case, this is going to remain a complicated problem till both the parties decide to solve, this territorial problem with us, or the borders are settled between India-Pakistan and India-China. So this is going to be a long haul. But having said that, I think India is not only mindful of it, we are also trying to diversify our options.
Okay.
So, because we know we are a big country, we are the most populous country, and especially vis-a-vis the China-Pakistan nexus, or as far as the land disputes between India-Pakistan and India-China are concerned, we are there to hold our forts and our posts. This is the clear message that we are not backing down, we are not standing down, we are going to stand there and we are going to fight this issue. And if you see the China-Pakistan economic corridor issue, we have raised this issue, and this is also not being very successful economic model for China itself, because
it has dragged on for so long.
It has not only dragged down, Ishita, for long, but it has also not reaped the thought out benefit.
Okay, the proportionate benefits
exactly.
In terms of the investment.
Whatever China has invested, they haven't been able to reap those benefits as yet.
Okay.
They are yet to get, because that Gwadar port or the Gwadar airport which they have built is still not fully functional, and even if it is functional, it's not getting the required ships or the aircrafts. So there is always a problem, because any infrastructure you build, unless it is able to add or to contribute to the economy, it is a liability.
Exactly.
So it has become a liability. Most of the Chinese infrastructure which the China-Pakistan economic corridor has produced on the Pakistani soil has so far been a liability.
Okay, now staying with New Delhi, we saw today the defense minister of the country visited INS Vikrant, and he was there to boost the morale of our forces. He gave a lot of statements, but one statement, that did stuck with me was about, he's saying that Operation Sindoor was just a warm-up, and if India tried, it could, divide Pakistan or break Pakistan into 4 parts. So how do you look at that statement, in the light of all what has been happening so far?
This is a big and strong political messaging from Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, because he was on board INS Vikrant. INS Vikrant is an aircraft carrier, and our aircraft carrier Vikrant was already there in the Arabian Sea at that point of time when we were having this Operation Sindoor. And Operation Sindoor, as you rightly pointed out, that is still on. So there's only a pause or cessation of firing on the borders or across the borders, but the issue still remains.
Exactly.
Issue still remains because even I saw one of your video yesterday that the Pakistani state is still harboring those terrorists. Those terrorists are freely roaming in Pakistan. They are celebrating. They are praising. They are raising the posters and the posters of terrorists, Pakistani politicians, and the Pakistani military generals are together in one frame. So this clearly shows that how the Pakistani state is there and what is going to be their behavior. So till the time they do not mend their ways, there is no point of us to call out any operation for that matter, because this operation was targeted against terrorists.
Yes.
Pakistan made it a military-to-military conflict because they decided to hit at our military bases in response to what we did against those terror organizations and their headquarters. And we did not unilaterally decide that these are the terror outfits or these are the terror headquarters.
These are UN proscribed
organizations. The places which we hit or which we struck down in our Operation Sindoor are clearly accepted by the international community as part of the United Nations Security Council sanctioned list that these are the headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, in Muzaffarabad, Hizbul Mujahideen, all these terror organizations.
And we did send a message also after that operation.
But coming back to the point of what Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh made on board INS Vikrant is that if India decides to go full force, so think about India's military might. If you see the firepower, if you see the military might ranking of India and Pakistan, there is a difference. India is the 4th largest firepower military in the world, while Pakistan ranks at around 12th position. We have shown restraint. We have shown restraint because we are neighbors. We have always shown this restraint. But this time, we have just called out. We just shown them our capabilities by hitting out them with the precision strike. And tremendous capacity we have shown them that the precision with which we can carry out these strikes, within the span of 200 meters, from a distance of over hundreds of kilometers, you can carry out such a precision strike. This is just a show. This is just an example of our capacity.
A glimpse of what we could do.
We could do. And Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh only mentioned that very fact on board INS Vikrant, that had we moved INS Vikrant, what devastation it could have launched on Pakistani soil. More so, the thing he mentioned about the balkanization of Pakistan, it is not us who's intending to balkanize Pakistan. Rather, Pakistan is it is being debated within Pakistan that with so much of fragmentation, with so much of discontent, with so much of differences within Pakistan, Baluchis are asking for their freedom. Sindhis are asking, they are asking for Sindhu Desh. And there are intrinsic problem as far as the management of Pakistan is concerned. The over-domination of Punjab. The over-domination of Punjab and Punjabis within the Pakistani military. So this has been a problem. Even POK. We have seen in recent past, there were huge protests in POK. People in Gilgit-Baltistan are also protesting. They have also shown their discontent. So if you see the entire structure of, if 40% of Pakistan is hell-bent, which is the Balochistan, to become an independent nation, people are saying, and this did not happen in a day. For long, Pakistan neglected that Balochistan area. The way Pakistanis have doled out, all those lands to ports and other areas, neglecting the concerns of common people, of the local people there, and doling out those benefits to the Chinese. Welcome, every country. For any foreign investor, you roll out a red carpet, but not at the cost of your own people. But this is what Pakistani military did. However, having said that, as a person, I can say I have seen Pakistan, I've been there, and after having read many of their documents as well, the likelihood of Pakistan getting balkanized in any immediate future, it's very unlikely currently. Pakistan may remain such a complicated, such a chaotic, such a fractured polity, a chaotic structure. However, the Pakistani military as establishment, as an institution, is able to keep Pakistan. They have that full force. They have that
still
might.
Has a grip over those.
Still have a grip, especially that frontier core area, which controls this area. Recently, in last 2-3 years, they have heavily armed the frontier core of Pakistan Army, and which controls this Balochistan area. So I don't think so that in immediate past. But yes, what Raksha Mantri has said, that if India decides to balkanize Pakistan, then yes, Pakistan doesn't have a chance for that. But will we do, or do we want to do? Because the problem will remain. There is another side of this argument, Ishita, that if there are 4 Pakistans, or if we balkanize Pakistan,
Then we have 4 more problems.
yes, exactly. So we cannot say with surety that all these fractured part of Pakistan, because we have seen in this case, in the case of Bangladesh.
Yes.
Exactly. So whether we want that or not, it may be a wielded threat to Pakistan or Pakistani people or Pakistan's polity.
All right. Well, there's clearly, growing discontent among Pakistanis, and what the state in Pakistan decides to do is, instead of trying to resolve those issues, it goes ahead and tries to invest more in terror groups. And India has now sent a clear message that it has had enough. And if Pakistan decides to escalate this time, the response will be worse. So thank you so much, viewers, for joining us on this, and stay tuned to India Today Global, where we simplified geopolitics for you.